Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Now, some quick sports. It looks like Jake Paul will be taking on Tank. Now, this is in a Netflix boxing match in the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. That's November 14th. I thought Tank agreed to Roach.
I mean, yeah, I thought they had a date. I thought their date was supposed to be back in August, but I guess that was never set in stone.
Yeah.
Then, how does that work? They in two different weight classes. What?
Well,
Jake Paul is way bigger than Gervonta.
That is true, but Gervonta is the way superior boxer. So the way I look at it is think about Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. Logan Paul was way bigger than Floyd Mayweather. Wasn't even close.
Right.
But Floyd made him look silly in the ring. And Gervonta going to do the same with Tank.
But with Floyd, that was it was an exhibition though with Floyd.
This is an exhibition
this is
too.
an exhibition. It's not a,
Yeah.
okay.
It's an exhibition too. I mean, listen, I think that there's way better competition that Tank could be fighting, but clearly Tank cares about the money. Tank ain't thinking about no legacy. He's not thinking about, being the best.
But are you mad at that, right? Because these boxers put their life
I'm
on
mad
the
at
line
that.
in the ring all the time, and he wants to cash out.
Yes, I'm mad at that.
He put his life on the line all the time, and this could be tripling his
in and out of the
paycheck.
ring.
Yeah,
but
listen, but we never know what can happen after this. He might go get that money, then he might say, you know what, let me go fight for legacy now.
That's right.
But who knows? We shall see.
All
We
right.
shall see.
I was gonna say, what's we see? All right, what's up,
We
Morgan?
shall see. Please don't say I was culturally appropriating any ethnicity. We shall see. We shall see.
Hey, y'all, hey. Yeah, we will see. Hopefully, he gets his hair braided days and weeks before, so we won't have to worry about the grease in his eye.
Oh, damn.
But I
Take
won't
a
get too
stab.
much
Go
into
ahead.
that.
Wow.
All right,
You see
so
how
in
DC
Texas,
do? You see how DC do?
I know, right?
Nah, don't do
Disrespectful.
Wow.
Disrespectful.
because she want to see Roach get that rematch.
I
again.
mean, I'm just saying, let's do the real fight. What are we talking about here? All right, y'all. So in Texas, the Texas Senate could vote on a congressional redistricting plan as soon as today. Now, this comes after Texas House Republicans passed the plan to redraw congressional maps in their favor yesterday. Now, the House reconvened yesterday after protests from Democrats that saw them leave the state to break quorum and delay a vote. Now, ahead of that vote, Texas Representative Todd Hunter said the state's electorate has more Republicans and the map should reflect that, adding that what the state of Texas is doing is constitutional. Let's take a listen to Representative Todd Hunter of Texas.
It's important to note that redistricting can be done at any point in time. The underlying goal of this plan is straightforward: improve Republican political performance. We are allowed to draw congressional districts on the basis of political performance as recognized by the U.S. Supreme Court.
So the bill now heads to the GOP-controlled Senate, where it's sure to pass. And, of course, Texas Governor Greg Abbott also said that he would sign that bill as well. A new congressional map would create 5 more Republican-leaning districts. Meanwhile, Democrats in California and Illinois are watching, and they say they'll push to redraw maps in their states to add 5 more Democratic seats if Texas does the same. Now, this comes as Texas Representative Gene Wu is already out with an amendment that would delay the implementation of the new maps until the entire Epstein files list is released to the public. Now, he said in a statement that President Trump is trying to shift attention away from the investigation by pushing redistricting. Also in the Texas legislature, the parents of 27 girls who died at Camp Mystic are urging Texas lawmakers to support a new bill that would make summer camps safer. Michael McCown, he's a dad of he lost his 8-year-old daughter in that July flooding, and he says that more protections need to be in place. Let's take a listen to his comments. Michael McCown.
We did not send Lenny to a war zone. We sent her to camp. We trusted she would be safe. No parent should ever again face what we are living through now. I believe that being disconnected from electronics for a time is very healthy for kids. Behind the scenes, the back office, and the foundation of summer camp must be fully up to date. How could these girls vanish into the night without anyone having eyes on them, while cabins, literally just 20 yards away, had no casualties?
So Texas lawmakers are taking up the package of bills to address the disaster. If passed, they would keep summer camps out of flood zones, require them to have emergency plans, and mandate both weather radios and warning sirens. So
I feel so sorry for those parents, man. I mean,
yeah, they went in on the Texas legislatures yesterday. By the way, they were not happy, So and rightfully so. So
yeah, because it's, when a situation like that happens, I'm sure you just look for people to blame because you just can't, believe your babies are not here anymore, But it's like, it's like hindsight is 20/20. Like there's nothing you can do to change the situation so you can only try to prevent it from happening to other parents in the future, because I'm sure you don't want nobody to feel that pain that you are currently feeling.
But some of this just seems common sense, right? Some of these laws that they're passing, not having it, campsite in flood zones, like some of this just seems common sense, right?
Common sense ain't so common. I don't know.
Hey, there you go. All right, so that's your front page news for 6 a.m. At 7. We will definitely get an update on what's happening with Hurricane Aaron and get into some more of what's happening in the D.C. takeover per President Trump.
But also, Morgan, too, about the redistricting. I agree that the redistricting of the maps is absolutely a distraction from the Epstein files. But have we ever watched someone try to fix a fight so blatantly? I mean, the midterms, are about a year away, but damn, have we ever seen people try to fix a fight so blatantly? And if the policies that the Trump administration is implementing are working, then you wouldn't have to fight so hard to try to fix these fights.
It's definitely giving scared to lose. Yeah, But
right.
At this point they're up, so that's that.
And that's front page news. Morning, everybody. It's DJ ND, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get back to some front page news. What's up, Morgan?
Hey, y'all. Hey, all right, let's get into a quick weather update on Hurricane Aaron. Now, storm surge warnings are in effect along the Outer Banks of North Carolina as Hurricane Aaron moves across the Atlantic. It's now a Category 2 hurricane with maximum sustained winds over 100 miles an hour and just 200 miles off the coast. Now, the National Hurricane Center says tropical storm conditions are already being felt in North Carolina's Outer Banks, and evacuations have also been issued for that region and will also spread north to the Virginia coastline. Those outer bands, those outer conditions that are being felt from that hurricane. Now, forecasters are also warning of coastal flooding across the region, as well as dangerous surf and potentially deadly rip currents. Now, tropical storm conditions could be possible through Friday from the mid-Atlantic coast to southern New England. So we are still dealing with the outer bands of Hurricane Aaron. A lot of people, I think, are thinking because the hurricane is not making landfall that it may not impact. But if you just turn on your TV, you'll see that that North Carolina is being impacted. There's flooding going on, and the surf is pretty dangerous, up along the coast between New Jersey, New York, even here in Maryland. So just stay safe as we deal with some of that weather. Elsewhere in presidential news, President Trump's takeover of the nation's capital continues. Yesterday, Vice President J.D. Vance went to Union Station in Washington, D.C. to meet with and hand out burgers to National Guard troops. He was thanking them. He was also joined by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. In a post on social media, VP Vance shared that he was glad he could stop by and thank countless National Guardsmen for busting their asses to clean up our nation's capital. Let's take a listen to Vice President J.D. Vance's comments.
In just the past 9 days, we've seen a 35% reduction in violent crime. We've seen over a 50% reduction in robberies. We are seeing really substantial effects because these guys are busting their ass. So I want to come here, highlight what they're doing, say thank you in person, obviously pass out a few burgers, but most of all, just send a message to the American people. Look, we don't have to live like this. We do not have to allow our cities to be taken over by violence and by disorder and by chaos. You can actually do stuff. You can actually bring law and order to communities. You've just got to have the political willpower to do it.
All they're doing is taking credit for statistics that they ignored prior to them sending the National Guard in. Like, those statistics were showing that crime was going down in D.C. prior. So now that they sent the National Guard in, they're just taking credit for those statistics.
Yeah, well, during his visit, J.D. Vance and Pete Hegseth and Miller, they were met with some protesters who were outside chanting "Free D.C." And Vance had some interesting things to say about those protesters. Let's take a listen to those comments.
We talk about human rights. We hear these people outside screaming, "Free D.C." Let's free D.C. from lawlessness. Let's free Washington, D.C. from one of the highest murder rates in the entire world. Let's free Washington, D.C. so that young families can walk around and feel safe and secure. That's what we're trying to free D.C. from. And as Stephen said, it's kind of bizarre that we have a bunch of old, primarily white people who are out there protesting the policies that keep people safe when they've never felt danger in their entire lives.
What does Big Balls think about all of this, Morgan? Has Big Balls commented about any of this? Because, Big Balls is the reason.
Big Balls.
Big Balls is the reason all of this is happening. Big Balls used to work for Doge, and Big Balls got beat up in D.C. So Big Balls. Yeah, has he made any comments about this?
He has not come out to say anything about this, actually. But Miller also went on to say that the protesters were white hippies and they're over 90 and they need to go home and take a nap because they have no connection to the city.
But
So, Amber Rose weighed in on it as well, suggesting that white liberals are racist in a post on social media. Now, she said, Amber Rose wrote in a post that white liberals don't care about black people. Most of the violent crimes in D.C. are in black neighborhoods. What about the mothers, aunties, grandmoms, and children that just want to feel safe walking outside? Why don't they want the good people of D.C.? Why do they want the good people of D.C. living in violence? Racist much? So
what do you think about that, Morgan? You from D.C. What do you think about that? And I was going to ask you that, like, as a person that's from D.C., what do you think about what the National Guard is doing? Because people in D.C. did say the crime was bad.
Yeah. Well, that's again. So the crime, the crime is what it is in any city, right? Or anywhere that you're at. It depends on where you are. I could be in Alabama and feel unsafe because I'm black.
No, but Morgan, you in D.C. I want to talk to you about D.C.
Okay. All right. So talk to me about D.C. Like I said the other day, the sentiment is. As someone, I will say that I grew up in D.C., but I live in Maryland now. The sentiment is for those of us who are in the region and on the Maryland and Virginia side, we're not coming into the city right now to party and have fun and do extra unless it's requirement for work. You're going to church, you got extracurriculars out there, you got family out there. Otherwise, there's no real extracurriculars happening in the district. Those who are in the city, those who are black and brown who are in the city, are not new to this. They true to this. They're not scared of anything political going on. They're going to continue to live their lives.
I was talking about the crime, though.
Morgan just said she can't go do her nightlife stuff. There's no extracurricular activities.
Was crime, because I heard people from D.C. say, look, crime was bad. I don't know if it's sending the National Guard in bad.
No, it's definitely not sending the National Guard in bad. Let's be clear. You don't need to militarize the residents of the district. They don't need military. You don't need military a force of that magnitude to deal with what's going on in the city. And to the point that is being made across this whole situation, these guys aren't trained for someone who's breaking into your car. They're not trained for someone who's so it's not one of those things that their presence is making it that much better. It's just one of those things that maybe crime may be down because nobody wants to go outside right now, but it's not one of those things that is like, oh, their presence is warm and it's heartfelt and I feel so much safer because they're in the city. That's not, it's not necessarily needed is what I'm getting at. The bottom line is, to have the DEA, the FBI, you got ATF, you got National Guard, that's a bit much. Okay. That's a bit much. That's more than what you would get for inauguration. So
well, thank you, Morgan.
A little bit laughable, but all right. So, but the Washington Post, I'll just, that was my opinion. I'll just put this out there. The Washington Post has released a survey. They released it on yesterday, showing that 69% of participants strongly oppose the decision to have the National Guard in the city. Another 10% somewhat oppose and 9% strongly approve. Now, Trump, of course, has deployed those hundreds of National Guard's troops to so-called assist in street patrols. There's also a Republican lawmaker who has introduced a congressional resolution to extend the federal takeover of Washington, D.C. law enforcement, like you said earlier, Charlamagne, in perpetuity. Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna is sponsoring a measure that would extend the takeover indefinitely. She released a statement saying the president should have the authority to exert federal control over the city for as long as he thinks it's necessary. So there's that. Any more questions regarding D.C.?
Nope, that is it.
All right, y'all. So let me just wrap up. I wanted to talk about immigration with Kristi Noem. Don't got time for that. And the CEO of Target is stepping down, but I won't get too much into that. We'll talk about that another day. That's your front page news. I'm Morgan Wood. Y'all can follow me on socials at Morgan Media. And for more news coverage, follow at Black Information Network. Download the free iHeartRadio app and visit us at binnews.com.
Thank you.
Wake that ass up
early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.